On Fridays, we love to visit with someone who knows about music, about movies, about anime, about subtitles, French films, Asian films, American films, superhero films, DC Comics, Marvel Comics. You get the idea? He comes in on a wave of magical rainbow positivity. Here's Michael Snyder. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Mark. Hello, America. Well, hello, Bay Area, and anybody out there living on the net. Listen, I've got some breaking news. Amid all the brouhaha surrounding the degendering of Mr. Potato Head, has announced that they're putting out a Donald Trump golden potato head modeled on the CPAC statue to replace the old orange model.
Very nice. Wow, they really work quickly at Hasbro, huh?
Yeah, really fast. Honestly, speaking of recent news, motivated by baseless partisan attacks on him by rabid right-wingers, the White House pooch Champ Biden has joined Dog Lives Matter. There's a big controversy about that right now.
Come on.
I don't wear a mask for the same reason.
No, that's not the right one.
And this is their new hoax.
That's the right one.
Yeah, right. Okay. Hoax.
Michael, a lot to see, a lot to talk about. There have been some great films. I want you to know, on your recommendation, I saw Nomadland. I really liked it. And then, because that same director had done that movie called The Rider, I went back and saw that. And these were kind of mood pieces, but they were, really well done. And a weird thing, and then I know you got a big list, but she cast, and in the case of Nomadland, you got Frances McDormand. We know she's an actor, right? But everybody else in that film, real life participants in this world of essentially almost everybody else of being nomads in vans and, creating a life sort of off the grid. And she did the same thing with The Rider.
I pointed that out last week. Other than David Strathairn, who plays the sort of somewhat love interest, and I say somewhat advisedly, I guess. They're all actual nomads, people living on the road essentially, and going seasonally from place to place.
Yeah. And so, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, let's kick it off with Minari. Minari, or Minari, if you're an American, is a very poignant up-close look at a Korean immigrant family. Dad, mom, 2 kids, one of them a young boy with a heart problem, and an elderly grandma, as they attempt to survive and build a life in America when they moved to a small farm in the Ozarks during the 1980s. Apparently, L.A. didn't work for them, and now the father wants to farm Korean vegetables for what he sees as an expanding expat community in the heartland. But it's going to be a rough go on the economic front. And when it comes to family matters, Jacob, the father, is played by Korean-American actor Steven Yeun, who is best known as Glenn on TV's Walking Dead. But he also had roles in Bong Joon-ho's Okja on Netflix and in the very cool sci-fi tinged indie movie Sorry to Bother You. And the guy was one of the stars of a highly recommended Korean thriller, Burning, which people should seek out. And here he shows his range as a man who wants to do right by his family and make a success of himself, heedless of the cost. Yoon's scenes with Yeri Han as Jacob's angst-ridden wife, Monica, are really, really potent, as is the interplay between the tough-minded grandma and Jacob and Monica's guileless son. By the way, there is one more actor besides Yoon that you might recognize. Will Patton plays an oddball born-again local who decides to help Jacob get the farm going. This is one of those potent slice-of-life movies that offer a glimpse into the difficulties of cultural assimilation in our purported melting pot, but it's also universal in the emotional terrain it travels. Families can be really infuriating, but can also provide comfort and support when things are falling apart. And home is where you find it or where you make it, as Minari illustrates with a lot of heart and honesty. Cheers to Lee Isaac Chung, the movie's screenwriter and director. He done good. You can see Minari on Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, and Vudu.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. I actually did see it late last night on a screener. I thought I couldn't, as usual, you're right on. This is why Michael is so great to have on the show. You just don't, I think your appraisal was perfect. It's a family dynamic that's being played out there with all those performances to which you referred. So go ahead.
Okay, I want to catch up to something that dropped last Friday, but I had such a lot of fun with it. I was both charmed and repelled by the darkly comic mix of thriller and social satire. I Care a Lot. I thought the movie was a blast. I just couldn't truthfully root for any of the main characters. Consider Marla, a conniving businesswoman whose business is to be a court-appointed guardian for as many old folks as she can move into assisted living facilities while divesting them of whatever they own. And then there's Marla's tough-as-nails business partner and girlfriend, Fran. They're taking all these elders to the cleaners and think they've hit the mother lode with Jessica, a cheerful retiree who is diagnosed by Marla's corrupt go-to doctor as ready for the rest home. So it appears as if Jessica has many assets and no relatives, but Marla apparently chose the wrong target. Rosamund Pike, she was in Gone Girl and many other films. She was a Bond girl for a while. She is gleefully, despicably amoral as Marla, killing it in every scene. Isa Gonzalez is a fine foil as Fran, and Oscar winner Diane Wiest is at her usual best as Jessica. And finally, there's Peter Dinklage in fantastic form as a ruthless gangster with lots of resources and more than a passing interest in what Marla is doing to Jessica. So other than Jessica, these are all pretty awful people, but man, the performances rock. And the story with its cat and mouse games and twists and turns absolutely crackles. Okay, I really got off on I Care a Lot. It's a nasty good time, courtesy of British director and screenwriter Jay Blakeson. You can see it on Netflix.
All right, keep going.
Okay, let's go to the bargain matinee bin here. A couple movies that have been out for a little bit, but I wanted to catch up to them. Is there anything that's quite as much guilty fun as watching Nicolas Cage go bonkers in a seriously cheesy, low-budget exploitation movie? It may be, but let me tell you about the latest exploitation romp, Willy's Wonderland, and you can decide if it's worth your time and money. Cage plays a silent drifter type, naturally. How silent? Yeah, pretty darn silent. I don't know that he utters a word in the film. Anyway, he gets stuck in a small town when he blows out all the tires on his tricked-out muscle car while driving one of those sketchy rural roads. The local mechanic won't take a credit card. The town has no ATM, and the drifter doesn't have enough cash. His only recourse is to work off the repair bill by spending the night cleaning up a trashed Chuck E. Cheese knockoff called Willy's Wonderland. The place used to be a major destination for local families, but was closed for reasons that soon become apparent to the drifter. Something is horribly wrong with the audio animatronic characters who were the Wonderland highlight for the kids back in the day until evil had its way. These machines are fiendish, I tell you, but now they're about to encounter the wrath of Cage. I mean, the whole premise is, pardon me, beat to death by 2/3 of the way through, but I will say that I was thoroughly entertained by Willy's Wonderland, which has the requisite dumb teenagers getting into trouble, sinister entrepreneurs, corrupt sheriffs, and locals, plus good old Nick Cage looniness. Midnight movies allow me to introduce Willy's Wonderland, which is available on Amazon Prime, Vudu, and Fandango now.
Man. So we've got Minari.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime and Google Play. By the way, I just want to mention, I mean to say, like, I watched it on a screener. Courtney got some kind of connection through her. She subscribes to a screening service. You know what I mean? So that's she pays for it. I didn't want to make it sound like I was, part of the ruling elite. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know who I am?
Thank you.
Kind of a big deal.
Anyway, yeah. But I did agree with Michael on Minari or Minari. Then, and you can see it at Amazon Prime, Google Play. I Care a Lot. You said, you actually had a really funny review on this where you said sort of, there are no likable main characters because they're trying to grift these people, these seniors, out of their money, I guess.
Yeah,
But
These are not the nicest people in the world, but you're absolutely riveted by them.
And it's on Netflix. I think I may watch that tonight. And Willy's Wonderland, which is just sounds like a popcorn film, right?
Yeah, totally. One more quickie because I want to live up to my eclecticism. Really short. Jumbo in French and set in a Belgian town.
Eclecticism, yeah. Go ahead.
It's a visually creative, very unlikely love story between Jean, a girl who works at an amusement park, and a spinning thrill ride that is a new attraction there. Yeah, it's that old story. A girl is turned on by an inanimate object due to good vibrations. It's crazy. Domestic drama between Jean and her single mom, but Jumbo is a rather unique mix of whimsy and wish fulfillment. It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen about a young woman's sexual awakening. But it's in virtual cinemas at lemley.com and other places. Jumbo, again, in French and set in Belgian, but strange and weird and kind of lyrical.
Wow. How about that? They're a little something different for the weekend. Jumbo. Well, Michael, you can read him, not just listen to him and see him. You can read him in the Marina Times. He does the Coastal Commuter column, and he does other writing for them occasionally. Michael, you are brilliant. You're a writer. I'm so glad you spend time with us here and love your written word and your spoken word. You can follow him. He's called the Culture Blaster, so you can find him on Twitter at Culture Blaster, and on YouTube, he is the Culture Blaster as well. Michael, thank you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.